What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we are starting to form meta teams. Now you're watching this video, I believe it's probably going to be Wednesday or Thursday, but all these battles that I did were over the weekend, so this was like my day 2, so this was my Saturday battles, but I am not available next week, so I have to do as many crazy videos as possible and get you guys some good content for next week while I can't be here. But we got Medicham, Steelix, and Gligar, all extremely meta, all extremely strong. It's just a fun team. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Medicham on the lead versus Shadow Dragonite. Obviously not a good matchup, but with energy coming back in, this is very ideal. So what we're going to look to do is firstly take this into the ones. The reason why is if we take this into the ones and then swap out, we're going to be at a 2-to-1 shield advantage because Ice Punch right here will KO. A Shadow Dragonite cannot survive, so we will be getting a shield. Now we're safe to swap out, get ourselves shield advantage, and start loading up on energy to see what they bring in. And we go ahead and go for an Aerial Ace right away. This is free chip damage, and it might just KO. And we get shield number 2. We are sitting extremely well right now because we are at now a 1-to-0 shield advantage. So let's see what my opponent decides to do. They're going to go ahead and swap out, and they do a great job catching the charge move here on Galarian Stunfisk. Now, just because they caught this charge move doesn't mean we can't absolutely load up and go for a dig here for super effective damage. And do remember, I still have a somewhat healthy Medicham. It's in the yellow, and I still have Steelix, so I should be able to get to this dig in time. This is not going to be enough to KO, unfortunately, unlike Earthquake on the Gliscor there. But we're going to go ahead and try to get to another charge move here because Mud Shot is heavily resisted, but they decide to throw energy, which is perfectly fine by me. I can now come in with Medicham and look to counter down, and this is only going to be a Rock Slide, so I can safely let it go. But unfortunately, I won't have enough energy, so I have to swap out right away because that Shadow Dragonite is coming back in, but we have Dragon Tail on our Steelix. Remember that. Look at the chunk. There's 1, there's 2, and it's gone. See, final Pokemon is a Registeel. So this is going to be a good game, very well played. Steelix right here. Steelix is good. Anyone that tells you otherwise just doesn't understand. And if you think otherwise, I highly suggest that you guys start to learn what it is capable of. And mind you guys, I've been using Steelix back in 2019. So what we're doing here is we go for Earthquake, and now we go for Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe right here, even though it's resisted, right? It lowers that attack of the opponent so they cannot one-shot us with the Focus Blast. And it's a checkmate situation. Steelix is a very good Pokemon. As you guys see, we just survived the Focus Blast, and it's all over. They decide to surrender. Steelix is good, guys. I'm telling you right now, as the season goes on, Steelix is not only good for Open Great League, but it's good for Open Ultra League. It is now a meta Pokemon. Alright, we have Lickitung here on the lead. A pretty decent lead, but the good thing about Lickitung is that fast move, right? The Lick and then the Chip Body Slam damage. Now we're going to go ahead and let these go through. Body Slam right away is not too threatening, and I'm going to look to go for a Psychic right away to see if I can land it. And I am concerned that there might be a Medicham in the back as well. We get a shield, so now I'm like, okay, I got to go into Gligar right here. I need to keep my Medicham alive just in case actually it's an ABA formation, which if you guys don't know, it might be like Lickitung, maybe Sableye, and then like Registeel or something like that, right? So we're going to go ahead and stay in. We decided to shield the Body Slam, and now we're going to look to go for a dig. Hopefully this is enough to KO. No, it's definitely not. So now we need to overload on energy, and there is in fact a Medicham in the back. So my original thought was correct. Now they're coming in a bit late, and this is good for Gligar because I can get to 2 Aerial Aces very quickly. I will have to give up a shield, but now it's going to be a matter of getting to see if we can get to 2 Aerial Aces before they get to 2 Ice Punches. So they've already thrown 1, and now it's going to be a race to the second. I did overload a bit on energy just in case they decide to let it go, but they decided to shield. So now we're actually going to swap out back into Medicham to force their energy right here. because my Gligar might come in clutch. So they decide to throw the Psychic, which is fine. I can come back in with Gligar and now commit to the farm down right here. We're perfectly safe, and let's see what they have in the back. Remember, there's still that Lickitung, which is really low, and there's actually, that's a Charizard in the back. So, lots of energy here on Gligar, and Gligar is by far it's the best new flyer, just flat out, period, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They make a great swap into Lickitung here to catch the charge move, but this is still perfectly fine with me because we take it out. And now we can go for another Aerial Ace right here to take the Charizard out. And we can actually swap into Steelix, I should say, and go for the Dragon Tail. And that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Gligar, it's so good. This is just like a meta, right? You could also replace, if you don't want to use Steelix, you could put Registeel there. You put Galarian Stunfisk there. Alright, now we have a Gligar on their side, which is kind of tough to deal with, but we're going to go ahead and go into the mirror. And I noticed they had Fury Cutter as the fast move, which is interesting. Still good at energy gaining, but they swapped in a Lantern now. And with the Lantern swap in, Dig does quite a bit of damage. Both Pokemon here can KO with 2 charge moves landing, 2 Surfs or 2 Digs. So it's all a matter of who is going to be shielding what. We're going to go ahead and shield the Surf. There is no shield bait for them. There is shield bait for us, though, because we have Aerial Ace. But I need to keep going for Dig to get this thing lower. And my hope is that I can maybe come in with Medicham and load up on energy. They decide to double shield, which I thought was really interesting because I can safely let this go. And they can't farm me down with Spark. So they're going to have to throw a charge move before I get to another. Actually, they might be able to farm me down here. It's going to be close, but I'm going to go ahead and look to go for the Dig. And then let's see if we can get to the next charge move. They decide to counter swap into Gligar instead and look to go for the charge move, which is, I guess, is okay by me. They have Night Slash as well. So I'm going to go ahead and come in with Steelix and look to load up on energy. I do need to watch out for the Dig, but I will be going for Breaking Swipe here to lower that attack. Now, this is going to be a test to see if the Dig still hits. Like, we did an attack debuff right there, and the Dig, it still hurts. That is still a good amount of damage, so unfortunately for me, I'm going to be forced to shield right here. I don't want to get hit with another Dig. And now I need to overload on energy, but it was just a Night Slash, so they shield baited me. And that's okay. We're just going to go ahead, and I messed up my timing right here. You never want to get caught throwing a charge move on CMP tie when you can survive theirs. You either want to farm down or go earlier so you don't have wasted health or wasted energy. So this is an example of a bad position to be in. So I undercharge. They swap into Trevenant, so we're going to go ahead and go for Breaking Swipe to try to lower that attack. And mind you, if I had just farmed down the Gligar, I could have double Breaking Swiped the Trevenant. But now we're in a very tough position where they will be able to get to Shadow Ball here. But hopefully the Breaking Swipe attack drop is going to be enough to survive, which it is. This allows us now to get the Ice Punch off. And this is just an all over the place game right now. As the Trevenant survives, we can do one Dragon Tail to take it down. Gligar's low, Lantern's low, but Lantern has a little bit of energy, has a Surf. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. Mind you, if I just didn't mess up there and I just committed to that hard farm down, we have double Breaking Swipe, and that would have been a lot better of a game. Alright, we got Bastiodon on the lead here. Very positive for us. We're going to see them swap into Torterra, so I'm going to go ahead and swap into the Gligar now and look to go for Aerial Aces. And I'm guessing this is going to be double Shadow Razor Leaf team. I don't know what gave that away. Whether it's the suit and the cowboy hat, or it's the Bastiodon and the Shadow Torterra safe swap, but something just smells a bit grassy, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to go ahead and commit to the hard farm down right here as we can get it. And then I can go safely for the Dig here against whatever comes in, because even if it is another Grass-type Pokemon like Shadow Victory Bell, it still does a lot of neutral damage, and they're going to be forced to shield anyways. So this is a good game. I have Steelix for the Shadow Victory Bell and the Bastiodon, and they do decide to surrender. So that's going to be a good one. Alright, moving into the next battle here. We have Medicham on the lead versus Lickitung once again. So it could be a lot of different things in the back. Lickitung synergizes on a lot of great teams. It's just an all-round generalized Pokemon that I'm still hoping to get one day. I'm still missing a little bit of candy. But we're going to go ahead and look to go for the Psychic here after overloading a bit on energy. And let's see what the opponent decides to do. They decide to shield, so we're going to go ahead and swap out once again into the Gligar and start getting ahead on energy, because we might need to save Medicham for the late game, whether it's a sack swap or what have you. So we're going to go ahead and shield the Power Whip, and they do swap in a Toxapex, and I thought this was an interesting call. We are heavily resisting the fast move on their side, and we can get to digs very quickly, and that does about 45-50% right there, maybe 45, maybe 41.5, just some rough guesstimations. Brian as well, not too much damage. We can easily survive, overload on energy, and look to go for another dig here. If they decide to shield, we'll have to see if we can win the race. But they decide to let it go, which is fine. In comes a Medicham, so we can now freely go for Aerial Ace. And we might just be able to get to a second one in time, which is going to be very nice. But I decide instead to swap, thinking, alright, maybe my Gligar's too low. I don't want to get farmed down and give Medicham a lot of energy. So instead, I decide to shield the Ice Punch and look to go for the Psychic. But they swap in a Lickitung here. So I'm going to go for the Ice Punch just to get rid of the Lickitung. And then hopefully get to one more Ice Punch here against the Medicham, but unfortunately I don't get it. And now we're going to see what Steelix is made of. You might be thinking to yourself, wow, 0 shields, Medicham on the side, Steelix, it's going to lose. I'm telling you guys, do not underestimate a Steelix. Breaking Swipe is too good. Now I could have gone for it a bit sooner right there. I was hoping to try to get to the Earthquake, and they do only have Ice Punch, which is fine. So now I'm just going to go ahead and go for Breaking Swipes because my win con, I mean, I could go for the Earthquake, but the double Ice Punch is what I'm worried about. This is exactly the reason. Here's the double Ice Punch. I wouldn't have made it to the Earthquake in time, but I do survive that Ice Punch because of the Breaking Swipe debuff, and now we just take out the Medicham just face to face right here with 2 Breaking Swipes and Dragon Tails, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. Steelix is so good, especially when you pair it with Pokemon that can handle a lot of its weaknesses or just do well. Alright, we got a GOAT lead right here, Alolan Marowak, which is unfortunately very tough for my team to face off against. So I'm reading that, you know what, I'm just going to let this go. I feel like it's a Bone Club, and it is. It's going to be a Bone Club Shield Bait right there, which we can safely let go, and they bring in a Swampert. So now this is a really tough position, and Swampert actually this season is like got its stock like skyrocketing because the typical meta flyers now are Gligar. Altaria's not as popular. It's still around, but it's not as popular. Gligars, though, are everywhere, and it does very well against it with Hydro Cannon. So my hope right here is to be able to potentially get to 3 Aerial Aces in time, but we did get a shield right there. And now, unfortunately, I can't get to an Aerial Ace again, so I gotta let this go. We're gonna see if we can survive. Come on, Gligar. Nope, absolutely boomed out of the sky. So we're going to go ahead, or boomed off the ground. Either way, it's a ground flying. So we're going to go ahead and let this Hydro Cannon go through and look to farm down. Now, we'll have to see what that final Pokemon is, but I should be able to get a Psychic off right here against the Alolan Marowak. And now, I'm really hoping it gets a shield, but now we got to go into the Steelix. They decide to let it go. We get a defense drop as well, which is very good. They're going to go ahead and go for the charge move, and I'm thinking, you know what, it's not a Fire Blast. It might just be another Bone Club, but it's actually a Shadow Bone. And that might have been a mistake because in comes a, not a Shadow Granbull, but a Charm Granbull. So I decided to go for the Earthquake here. I think my hope was there. I'm thinking I would go for Breaking Swipe or be able to get to 2 Earthquakes in time, but unfortunately I just can't get there. So if I had gone 1 fast move away right there, maybe 2, I was halfway through the animation. We gotta let this go, it's game over, but had I shield baited with Breaking Swipe, right, we get to that Earthquake in time, and then it's a good game. So yeah, tough one right there, but we almost had it. Alright, moving to the next one. We got Medicham now versus Umbreon. So pretty positive lead. Umbreon is a Pokemon that, and it's got Feint Attack. I thought this was interesting. I mean, Snarl is the better move, right? But Feint Attack still does chip damage because Medicham is a fighting psychic. So we take neutral from dark type moves, and Umbreon is just so tanky right here that it can actually chip us down. So what I want to look to do in this situation is go for the hard farm down and just give up one shield. Not try to get an Ice Punch KO right here because I don't think it would be enough anyways. So instead, we're going to go for the shield, we're going to go for the hard farm down and store up a lot of energy to then see what is going to be in the back. So in comes a defense form Deoxys. So this is kind of an interesting situation we got going on. My first thoughts that I'm seeing this is maybe it's defense form Deoxys and Medicham in the back, so it was a dark double psychic, right? Which it very well could be. And then what I decide to do is go for multiple Ice Punches here to get myself ahead. And the reason being ahead on health is Steelix can actually come into this matchup because it resists all of the charge moves from a defense form Deoxys. Thunderbolt, Rock Slide, Psycho Boost, all heavily resisted, and they're going for Psycho Boost, which is fine by me because now I can just Dragon Tail down. If they decide to stay in, right, this defense form Deoxys is not taking down my Steelix whatsoever. They should be swapping out, but they're not. And it makes me wonder what could be in the back. We're going to trust in Steelix. We're just going to hard farm down, let everything go through, save our shield for the Gligar, because now whatever's in the back is just going to get hit with breaking swipes, and it's a Skarmory. Oh, poor Skarmory. Gone are the days when you were the #1 meta flyer back in the good old days of Skarmory and Altaria. Caleb Pang, Skarmory double grass team from 2020. Gone are those days. We are now in the meta of Gligar and Breaking Swipe Steelix, which makes Skarmory just do absolutely nothing here, as we heavily resist the Sky Attack already, and with Breaking Swipes, it just adds injury to insult to injury here, and that's going to be a good game. I'm going to swap into the Gligar now to finish this off with Dig, and even a Brave Bird from this range will not KO. I still have a shield as well, but we did, I believe, 3 breaking swipes there on the Skarmory. And it's just, stay in retirement, Skarmory. That's all I'm going to say. There's really not a lot it can do unless it gets a move update for coverage, because right now it is struggling. And that is going to be a good game, very well played. Cool to see it still be used, right? It still does well against fairies, but with the amount of heavy meta steals and Lantern out there, it's just tough for it to fight back, which is why Pokemon like Gligar is #1 at flyer, in the flyer position, because of Dig, because of the coverage, while still having, you know, the cross coverages, right? Skarmory is just all, you know, cover and resist, basically, on one typing. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Very meta team, Medicham, Steelix, and Gligar. Very fun to use. Again, if you guys don't have Steelix, try other Steels there. Registeel, maybe even Bastiodon, or Galarian Stunfisk. All up to you, but I do think Medicham and Gligar are here, and they're here to stay for a while. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.